Hi, I'm Robert Miano. I'm an actor, and I'm I'm happy to be on the podcast with Stax, Billy Stax. I met Billy doing a film in Connecticut, uh, and he played a role in the film, and he was wonderful. He was great. So, and here I am with Billy Stax. He's a great guy, and he gave me the opportunity to come on and talk to people and just say hi.
Welcome to this episode of Chatting with Stax. I'm your host, Bill Stax, and today I got Robert Miano. Miano.
Siciliano.
So I've been pronouncing it wrong the whole time, huh?
You're just pronouncing it the way you're pronouncing it. It's me. I say Miano.
A lot of people say Miano, right?
Some. I think they're Japanese, though.
Yeah. Yeah, probably. So before we get started, make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Where were you born and raised?
In the Southeast Bronx. I was born in Manhattan at the Lenox Hill Hospital, and then I was raised in the Bronx, Southeast Bronx. Yeah.
What was it like growing up
on Vise Avenue? What was it like?
Yeah.
Wow. It was a great neighborhood. You had a lot of Italians, Jewish. I come from a mixed family. My father's Sicilian. My mother, she was Sephardic. Anyway, so, and we lived in this tenement building right on the corner, and we had an apartment on the fifth floor, a 3-room apartment. I used to
just 3 rooms.
Those steps, walk up and down those steps. I don't know how many times, 5 flights of stairs. There was no elevator to get to the apartment. Apartment 3E. Was it 3E? I think so. Or 5E. Anyway. Yep, I grew up on the streets playing stickball. Ring Alivio. Later on, I had my bike. I would ride my bike. It was a good experience to grow up there. And right around the corner for me, I'll drop a name for you, was Al Pacino. He lived like, I would say, a block and a half away from me, right around the corner. And I would see Al from time to time, play stickball with him, baseball, basketball. He was a couple of years older. And I saw him do his first play in junior high school. It was called Home Sweet Homicide. I think he played a detective. He couldn't be more than, 16 years old. He was terrific. And I was a singer. I had this ability to get up in front of people and sing. I mean, I don't know where that came. It was a gift. And I rode that gift because when I was 15 years old, I was on the street corner with a doo-wop group, and we were singing what the hell? I don't know. I want a Sunday kind of love, one da da dee. And these people came up to us, and I was one of the lead singers of that group, and this couple came up to us and said, "Hey, listen, we like the way you sound. Would you like to cut a demo record?" We said, "Sure." So we go in the studio, we cut a demo, and the next thing we know, we're going to record 2 songs for for this new label on MGM Records called Vanishing Angel and Kingdom of Love by the Preludes. You can still hear it today on YouTube. They play it in New York, oldies but goodies. So, like at 15 years old, I cut my first record, and from there, I just, I just kept singing. I became a pop singer.
Were you guys doing concerts and things like that?
I did the Catskill Mountains. I would open for like guys like Red Buttons. I sang at the Concord and the Grossingers, and Laurel, and all the top hotels there in the Catskill Mountains. I'd go up there, drive up there, and they'd feed us, and I'd sing, and that was part of the deal. I recorded for Columbia Records, and I was always interested in acting. And while I was there, I would do extra work in New York. I worked with out in the out of towners with Jack Lemmon, and what was the other one with? There was another one, but I did a lot of extra work. And then I got a chance to do a film. They were doing an open call for the film Death Wish with Charlie Bronson. And we were up there at the Gulf and Western building, and we're sitting around waiting. Everybody's waiting to go in, and we hear somebody screaming in the next room, "Help, help!" And we see this guy running out of one room into another room. It was the director, Michael Winner, and this actor was chasing him with a knife. So I guess true story. So 2 or 3 of us got up. We ran in. We took the knife away from the guy. I guess he was trying to intimidate Michael, scare him. We took the knife away, chased the guy, and then Michael came out from under the desk, and he gave us all roles in Death Wish. So that was
because you saved him, right? Because you saved him.
We saved his ass. Yeah, that was funny. And I would bang around, still singing. And then when I was around 26, I got a gig in Canada doing this musical at Stratford, and it was a huge theater, like 2,000 seat theater, and I had a chance to do this solo number. And I came back to New York, and I said to my family, I want to travel around the world. They looked at me like, Robert, what do you mean, travel around the world? I said, yeah, I'm gonna go fly to Europe, and I'm gonna travel around the world. And I had a guitar, and I taught myself about, how to play the guitar, how to, strum it, and I knew some chords, and I knew a lot of songs. I could sing in Italian, I could sing in Spanish and Hebrew.
Wow.
So my mother and father, they were like taken back. What are you talking about? You don't know anybody in Europe. Where are you going? She says, Robert, you've taken too many trips. You know what I mean? Too many trips.
Are you making enough money to support yourself at this time?
Listen, I got $200 in my pocket. Okay. I have $200 in my pocket and a bag and my guitar on my shoulder. And now I'm going to fly to you. And I bought a round trip ticket. I'm going to fly to Europe now, and I'm going to travel around the world. My family thought I was completely gone. Yeah. So, true story. I get on the plane, JFK, and I'm up in the air, and the pilot says, we have to turn around. The plane is losing pressure. Where just as oh my God, we get back to JFK, and I'm thinking to myself, hey, am I really supposed to do this? I got on the next plane. I flew across the Atlantic, and I landed in Luxembourg. I landed in Luxembourg, and I hitchhiked down to Paris. I rented like a little room in Paris. I spent one day in Paris, and then I hitchhiked down through Portugal into Spain. And I only had $200, and I'm going to travel around the world. So I slept out in like under a bridge in the city of what was it? I forget which city it was. Toledo. I think it was Toledo. And these kids would come in the morning. They'd come and look at this guy sleeping under the bridge. They didn't know what the hell this was. And they would bring me fruit, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I hitchhiked to Sevilla, and I was sleeping in the park in Sevilla, and the sprinklers would come on in the morning. So I had to get up and get my stuff together. I had a sleeping bag, my bag, and my guitar, and I had, very little clothing. And I would go into this restaurant to like wash up. And I go into the restaurant, and the maitre d's, it was lunchtime, and the maitre d is he's seating people, and he sees me, and he's kind of trying to get no, you can't, no, please. But anyway, he was so busy. I managed to get into the men's room, restroom. I kind of washed my face, my hands. I come out, and people are sitting for having lunch. And as I'm walking out, right by the door was a table, and there was this man and this woman sitting, having their lunch. The maitre d' was busy. I took out the guitar, and I started singing to the couple. I said, Guantanamera, Guantanamera, Guantanamera. And the guy reached in his pocket, and he took out a coin, right? And he gave me the coin. And then the maitre d', I saw him, and I walked out, and I said to him, I got outside, and I said, oh my God, I said, this is how I'm going to do it. I said, hello, this is how I'm going to do it. I walked around the corner, and there was a long table of people sitting, having their lunch. I took the guitar, and I became the street singer right there. I sang for all these people sitting on the street. I had my hat. When I was finished, I took my hat off, and I passed the hat around, and everybody threw in their coins, whatever. And man, the king of the road was born right there on the streets of Sevilla. And I tell you, Billy, I spent 2.5 years traveling around the world. I mean, there's so many stories. I was in Morocco, and I got on a sailboat with this French kid because I wanted to go to the Canary Islands. It was 500 miles from Agadir to Las Palmas, and I get in this sailboat with this kid. I never sailed. And 2 days later, I'm seasick. We're lost in a storm, right? And I'm saying to myself, oh my God, what did I do, right? The water is crashing over this little sailboat, and I'm lying down. I'm so seasick, and he's calling me out. He gets me out to the back of the boat, and he says, hold the tiller and don't move. And while I'm holding the tiller, I'm seeing all this water coming down on me. It's raining, it's blowing, the seas are crazy, and he's pulling down the sail as we ride out the storm. We ride out the storm, and as we come, I don't know how long it took, but it was a wild ride. As we come out of the storm, there was an oil tanker in front of us, and he says, do you need assistance? He saw this little sailboat coming out of the storm. So he gives us the longitude and latitude of where we were, and the kid was able to navigate to another island, to one of the other islands, because we got blown off course. So we missed Las Palmas, and we ended up in Lanzarote. And we got off the boat, went and had a beer. We're walking back to the boat, and he says to me, Robert, he says, I want to go down to Dakar and get a bigger boat. I says, Alan, I says, this is where you and I part company.
Yeah, because you don't want to risk it, right?
I got on a little tiny plane. I flew to Las Palmas. I spent the winter there. I found a Harry's bar. I would go there every night. I'd play for the oil guys there. I cleaned up at Harry's bar. That was because I flew to Las Palmas. That was in Las Palmas. And then after that, I went back to I went to Sicily, to Palermo. I went all the way up through Sicily. I was in Capri. And this restaurant called La Pina. It was one of the finest restaurants on the island of Capri. And their singer that they would hire from Rome, he couldn't make it. And I don't know, I sang there one night and they said, listen, would you be our singer? Our singer from Rome can't make it. Please be our singer. And I spent, I don't know, on Capri singing at this place. I did very well because they had the highest clientele, the best clientele. And one night they get a call from one of their patrons saying, listen, we heard about the singer. We'd like to hire him to come up to Ana Capri, a villa. We're having a party. They said, sure. They send me a car. I go up there, knock on the door. The woman opens the door. She says, oh, you're the singer. I said, yes. She says, please. She says, come in. And with that, this guy rolls up in a wheelchair. She introduces him. This is my husband. It turns out it's the Duke and Duchess of Windsor. Okay. So that, I went overland from Egypt to South Africa, overland. I went through Egypt, Sudan, Ethiopia, Kenya, Uganda. Billy, it was probably, I have to say, that was probably the greatest experience, that I had in my life, as the troubadour, going from country to country. You learn that people are people. It was just extraordinary. It was such an adventure. Anyway, I get back to New York, and I get into this film directed by Howard Koch with Bobby Duvall. What the hell was the name of that film? I forget the name right now. But anyway, I did that film with Bobby Duvall. I played like one of these gangsters, and I got a chance to go to California. These people wanted to send me to California to sing. And I said, okay, look, let me take the shot. So I go to California. I got an agent right away. I had a referral from some casting director that I met in New York. And I get this agent, and he starts sending me out, and I start working. My first job, I played an Indian in this thing called Bridges with James Wainwright. And I play this Indian. They put me on a Pinto, and here I am riding this Pinto with these guys behind me, and I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I had no saddle, nothing, and I'm jumping on this Pinto, and now I don't know how I did it, how I managed to gallop with these guys, hit the mark, throw down the bow and arrow, and it was unbelievable. And I kept getting these jobs, and I never looked back. New York was like something. It was a memory. I had no desire to go back to New York. I planted myself in California. So anyway, I'm there in California, acting. I get into an acting class with this great teacher, and Carl Weathers was in the class. Lois Child, Sandra Dee Wallace. There was so many. Suzanne Summers. These were my scene partners in this class, and I spent about 2.5 years, and I just kept studying and kept learning. Kept growing as an actor. Did some plays. Anyway, cut to the chase. They're casting Donnie Brasco out here in Los Angeles.